Hi, buddy. No. Let's see if you can get a good view of his hooves. Okay, for those of you guys that are looking for grazing pigs or just homestead pigs, we have always raised the mule-footed hogs. Mule-footed hogs are great grazers, is why we like them, because as you guys all know, pigs are pigs and they eat way too much. So I wanted a smaller pig that was easy to manage, number one, and that grazed so I didn't have to feed him so much. And, you know, just gentle, docile temperament, and obviously we wanted phenomenal meat. The Mulefoot has that all in one little mule-footed package. Now they're a smaller pig and they have smaller litter sizes, but for us it's worth the trade-off because the meat is so much better than regular pork. Can't recommend them enough. A few years ago, we had a mule-footed hog when we lived in Utah, and we had her on 40 acres, and she grazed year-round. And in the wintertime, when we fed the cows hay, she'd come running and eat the hay. And she stayed fat. She did good. Just wanted to show you guys, for those that are interested in grazing pigs, these are our mule-foots. And they graze all day long. That's one of my favorite things about the Mulefoot, is that they're pretty much immune to hoof rot. Okay, some more fun facts. Is a mule-footed hog grow between 400 and 600 pounds at maturity, so usually around 2 years old. Ours have always been around 350, and you know, usually at weaning or at butcher weight, we get into about 250 pounds. They're good grazers though. You see how well they graze?
That's where we bought them.
Yeah, I was just going over that in my video. Mm-hmm. Okay, some fun facts about the mule-footed hog. Number one, their name. They are mule-footed. Their hoof is a solid hoof instead of a split hoof. Let's see if I can get a close-up of these guys' little hooves. There's this little hoof. And you can see it's just a solid hoof like a mule. Kind of neat. As far as temperament, ours are about the sweetest pigs you'd ever meet. I don't know why they're so friendly, but I've never had friendly pigs until we got our first mule-footed hog. And when she had her babies, I was there and I delivered them, and she trusted me. And it was a really heartwarming experience to deliver these baby piglets and help her through this process, and her be so gentle and kind towards me. And even these ones we got now, my kids have made pets out of them. You walk up to them, and all they want is you to scratch their butts. It's hilarious. Anyways, so yeah, the mule-footed hogs are definitely by far our choice. We've researched a lot of different breeds, you know, and we settled on the Mulefoots just because, you know, they've worked well for us. Now, they are critically endangered, so they're difficult to find. There's only, I think, last I heard, and you know, I could be wrong, but it was around 600 purebred registered Mulefoots left. Now I'm sure there's lots of them, like the ones we've got, that aren't registered, because it was really difficult to register them a few years back, because the registry wouldn't return paperwork for us. I mean, I hear they're better now, but because of that, our pigs aren't registered. Either way, the meat is fantastic, and they're great grazers, and they get along with other animals, and they do well, you know. We had them in Utah, now we've got them in Missouri. Pigs, a few cows, you can see the goats and sheep way down there. This is the girl pig. Hi, girl pig. And then we got Lobo, who stays in and takes care of them. It's all working out pretty well. Just after doing a little bit of research and actually finding a breeder close by. So we bought 2 gilts and we bought a boar. And boar we lived in Utah at the time, and we had to go to Wyoming to retrieve the boar. There's a breeder there, I can't remember where he is, but highly recommend him if he's still in business, because all 3 of them were beautiful animals. And they're supposed to be registered, although we sent the paperwork in and the registry would never respond or send it back. So they ended up just being grayed, even though we paid for registered pigs. But anyways, we had a great experience with them. We raised several litters, and when we moved to Missouri, we actually had the old sow that she was about 5 years old at the time, and we finally had her butchered, and the meat was amazing. I mean, we had cottage bacon and sausage, no ill flavor from the five-year-old sow, and it was just great meat all the way around. So when we got to Missouri, I was convinced that there's Lobo. I wanted to get Mulefoots again. Now, when I first got here, we were low, you know, on pork. You know, we always have to raise some, otherwise we run out. We've got several kids, lots of kids. At the time, I think we had 6 kids. Anyway, so I found a good deal on some blue butts. And so we went and got these blue butts. It was a sow and 9 piglets. And we sold a bunch of the piglets and kept the sow and a few of her babies to raise out. Lobo, go. Go. And so we raised up these blue butts. And we raised them on milk and grain and, I mean, grass. And the meat should have been wonderful. I just got something in my eye. And we got these blue butts butchered, and the meat was white and bland. And I was just surprised, because I was so used to this deep red flavorful meat that we had from these Mulefoots, that we got these blue butts back, and I was just disappointed. And we had tons of it, because they were big and they grew fast. But the meat, it was literally pale in comparison. So the next year, I was lucky enough to find somebody who had Mulefoots just 45 minutes from us, and I was like, yes, score. And they were even out of registered stock, so we picked them up, and we had 5 that we raised for meat, and it was just absolutely amazing, just like I remembered it. You know, that deep color, that flavorful meat. I thought about saving some of them back for breeders at that time, but I was pregnant and we moved, and it just wasn't good timing for us. So we ended up having all of those ones butchered, and you know, we raised them for meat. Now that we moved here back to Myrtle, we've got this great big, I think it's probably 10 acres altogether, this little animal field that's got pretty good fences, and we keep these little pigs in. So I'm letting myself keep these 2 for breeders. They're just grade Mulefoots. It's all I could find around here without having to travel. Now I am, you know, always looking for some registered Mulefoots, so if you know of any, point me in the right direction. But it's just because it's so hard to find the Mulefoots every year. When we had litters, our Mulefoots had litters that were, she had 7 each time. Now the first litter we lost 2 piglets, and I think the second litter we had all 7 survive. So, and you know, we raised those for meat, and they were just absolutely amazing. If you've eaten store pork, it's good. If you've eaten Mulefoot, it's just out of this world. You don't even realize how good it is. And if you're a homesteader and you're looking for a low impact animal, you know, one that's easy to manage, one that's got an easy temperament by nature and one that's going to have less hoof problems because of the anatomy of their feet, I would strongly suggest looking at the Mulefoots. You know, all of these critically endangered breeds that people have kind of forgotten about, you know, these are perfect for us little homesteaders. Now they have a little bit more fat than the regular pigs do, but that's just because the homesteaders, hey Lobo, would use them for, you know, things like making soap and candles and whatnot, their lard. So, you know, the lard can be used in so many different ways. So, anyways, I can't say how much we have been just happy with them and highly recommend them. So, anyways, that's my spiel on Mulefoots. So if you're looking for a good grazing pig, look them up. Thanks for watching. Hello, Mr. Piggy. Come here. Come here. Hi, sweetie. Yes, you're just the friendliest little piggy. Yes, he likes having his ears scratched. They especially like having their butts scratched. Yes. Now, we didn't even try to make these guys tame. They are just that way naturally. It's funny. We never handled them. Just one day we just started petting them. I'm excited. Hopefully within the next 6 or 8 months we'll have piglets. Who knows when they're going to be old enough. But you can watch. They're grazers. But look at his eyes. This is what I always do. He has kind eyes. You know, some animals just have crazy eyes. He's got kind eyes. He's a nice little pig. And he gets along. We've got, you know, the goats and the sheep, the dog, the Great Pyrenees, which is good because there's coyotes everywhere. And we've got some cows in here. And they all get along famously. So, that's our little pigs.